Senator Maanzo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute on a very, very important report. Madam Speaker, when IBC appeared before the Senate committee of JLAC, where I sit, you know the law relating to voting under the Constitution is Article 86, which reads that at every election, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission shall ensure that A, whatever voting method is used, the system is simple, accurate, verifiable, secure, accountable, and transparent. Madam Speaker, based on this Article 86 and the following articles which deal with election, every report which is made and every law which is made in relation to election, Madam Speaker, must conform to this simple policy of the Constitution. And it is very important that the arbiter is also must be seen, you know, not to be influenced, must be seen to be fair. And for them to be able to give us election results which are simple and verifiable, then also the cost of the election must be borne by the country and must be reasonable cost of election. It should not be expensive or, you know, very expensive election costing billions of shillings. The printing materials and the procurement of the same must be safe, and the cost must be reasonable. We are aware that elections are won or lost at the polling station. And the system we have, just like Senator Cheregei has spoken about the systems in other countries, at every polling station, we should know who won and who lost the election. That's where it begins. But now when it comes to transferring of the election, problems begin to mount. And when you have the Joseph Camargos of this world and their system, Madam Speaker, there is likely to be a problem. I have been in the election petitions since 2013, and in 2017, the Supreme Court ruled that the election was not free and fair. It had electoral malpractices, and the presidential elections were nullified, Madam Speaker. And even statements have been made. The person who really takes care of an election is the member of parliament. And if you see the votes of the member of parliament should not, in a polling station, should not vary so much with the votes of the presidential candidate. If they vary, then there is likelihood of malpractice, and it is important that the register be updated, Madam Speaker. When the register is not updated, there is likelihood of dead voters voting, and it has happened before. We knew a mother of a prominent Kenyan, a member of parliament, who had passed on just before the elections. But after election, when we went to check the paperwork in that polling station where she used to vote, we found that she had raised from the dead, gone and voted, and went back to the grave. So those malpractices do exist. They are there. Dead people do vote. And Madam Speaker, this happens after 5 a.m. in the strongholds of candidates. In fact, in the 2017 election, there had been cheating in 38 constituencies for presidential vote on one side and 16 constituencies of presidential vote on the other side. You know, so that it's like the presidential candidates were competing on cheating. And this is done by collusion at the polling station after 5. And therefore, it is unfortunate when we scrutinize during court trials and you find that there is electoral malpractice. So first and foremost, we want the Electoral Commission to make sure that there is no cheating in the country. And that's why the United Alternative Government is clear that the arbiter must be seen to be free and fair. And after 2 visits to the IBC, I have realized this is a team actually the country can rely on. We had accused them of being a commission belonging to William Ruto, but now we are convinced that there are Kenyans there. And the person who we had a problem with, Marjan, has left on his own volition, which is a good sign that good things are coming. But the next CEO, who is very important, must be a person who cannot be influenced, must be a person who will not misadvise the commissioners, must be a person who Kenyans can trust, and in the event we don't trust him, then we have to voice it out, Madam Speaker. We cannot just keep quiet and we are going to participate in this election. In fact, the biggest clients of the Electoral Commission are political parties. So every coalition, every political party is free to visit and make their case with the IBC. No one is stopped from visiting the IBC. So when the United Opposition visits the IBC, they visit because they are stakeholders of the election, and they need to be sure, and they need to make proper presentations. And electoral offenses have not been taken seriously in this country. If electoral offenses and the punishments thereof were prohibitive, people will be careful not to mess. We have seen elections with violence. We have seen, even in Kisii yesterday, people plotting violence against opposition leaders, alternative government leaders, visiting the people. Why will you attack them? Why will anybody plan an attack on SIFUNA when he's going to meet people? You should let SIFUNA have his meeting, and any other person who wants to go to Kakamega do a meeting, also do their meeting, and let the best man win. But, Madam Speaker, that is not what we have seen. There is trend of violence, and there is trend of killings. And what I want to tell Senator Cheregai is that for every one person you kill because of politics, the person alleged to be accused of that killing loses votes. By the time you mourn that person, by the time you bury that person, it's all political. Kenyans are making their mind as to where they will vote. And the IBC must also come up with proper mechanism of promoting and educating voters. Voter education, Madam Speaker, has been missing. We are aware that voter registration will start massively and to every police station on 29th March after Ramadan is over. So I really want to call upon the SIFUNA followers and all the young people in this country to go and register as voters, because finally it is the vote which counts. You can shout as much as you want one term or whatever terms you want to shout. But so long as you are not voting on the voting day, your effort is totally a waste of time. And I think now it's a time the young people and the 8 million Kenyans who did not vote last time should be very upset with how things are being done currently, and wake up very early to go and vote and bring a just government of the people. It is not going to be easy for anyone to put this country back to track. I saw the president yesterday say that his focus is on the ball. But unfortunately, with the golf ball, sometimes you especially if you are an amateur, you hit it and it goes into the forest. Are you still focusing on the ball? We must really listen to Kenyans, do the right things for Kenyans. Kenyans have seen election violence. Kenyans should not die because of election, because of politics. Kenyans should not bury their loved ones because of politicians and because of misuse of the police force, Madam Speaker. We should all feel free to go and vote. We have seen violence in police stations in certain parts of the country, whereby, in fact, violence is so much unleashed on one side so that one candidate is totally disadvantaged, and that one favors members of parliament be elected, or the governors, and also it goes a long way also to favor a presidential candidate. And this matters when they are taken to court. Sometimes all the evidence doesn't come out in court. And therefore, there is every need, Madam Speaker, that we have a proper electoral law in the country, that a law everyone can rely on. And we have also seen a new trend where the law doesn't matter anymore, where procedures don't matter anymore for politicians, where every politician pretends is above the law, organizes and unleashes violence on opponents. I think, Madam Speaker, if an election is won fairly and squarely, then the other Kenyans, if you have a complaint, you file an election petition and voice it out. If there is no complaint, then the government which has been elected should be allowed to serve. It should not, violence should not be unleashed unnecessary to voters during the voting exercise. So I really want to challenge IBC, and I am praying for them that they get the budgets and the amount of money they need to plan a good election. We want to know the security of the ballot paper, the security of and the integrity of the electoral process, so that no extra ballots are printed or no extra boxes are taken into police stations. Violence is caused, blackouts are caused, and later on when votes are counted, it is a different story. As a person who have done election petitions since 2002, I am aware that every election is stolen in a way, even a member's election. And that's why people file election petitions. That's why we have by-election like we had one in the coast. What happens is the candidates who succeed, they are voted for overwhelmingly, such that the thieves of the election steal and are unable to finish all the votes. That's what happens in a lot of times. That's what happens in a lot of times. It is true, Senator for Bungoma, I can assure you, you are overwhelmingly elected, but I'm happy to hear the point of order.
Senator Wakoli, what's your point of order?
Standing Order 105, statement of fact. Can Senator Maanzo, as a serious prayer warrior and intercessor who communicates to God every day, even now, confirm to us how you stole elections, if you have ever stolen? That it's a fact that people steal elections in Kenya. Can he justify
Senator
using
Maanzo,
his holiness title?
Yes, what I usually do in makwiny, because you cannot have a perfect 100% election in this country. And I'll tell you the malpractices. First, there are people and their agents on a poly day giving 100 shillings outside the police station. In fact, there are people, Madam Speaker, who only spend millions of shillings on the election day only. So what I do, I pray my God, and I mobilize so many votes without paying. My election is usually the cheapest.
Senator Maanzo.
Yes.
I don't think the member wants you to explain what you do. He wants you to substantiate the allegations that it's a fact that elections are stolen.
Yes, I will substantiate, and I will say, if that's what I do myself, and what I do is I put together so many votes so that whoever is stealing from me, they will steal and there will be a balance.
Senator Maanzo, you actually not understand what substantiation is.
Yes, I do.
So can you substantiate that people steal elections?
I can substantiate through the election petitions which I have filed, Madam Speaker. And the best example...
Yeah, so you know them, you're the one who filed. Can you indicate one?
The election petition, the presidential election petition of 2017 ruled out that Raila Odinga's election was stolen.
Senator Wakoli, that...
I'm not convinced. He should table facts.
Senator Wakoli, I think the ruling of 2017 is in the public realm. So you can verify and come and confirm whether it is
Speaker, did it say they were stolen?
It said clearly that the election was stolen, and that's why it was nullified, and there was another election. That's exactly what happened. So, under Senator Wakoli, I'm sure.
If this is the position of the united opposition, then we leave them to
Senator
God.
Wakoli. Senator Wakoli, this was intended to be a substantiation. So
Yes.
what you need to do is verify the facts of the case and indicate whether he's right or not.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me go on to conclude. I really want to say that now I can hear this is generating a lot of politics. The position of alternative government is that we will talk and convince as many Kenyans as possible, as they are doing now in Kisii, to support us, so that when the election comes, will be voted overwhelmingly, so that anybody try to steal that election will not be able to do it at all. A lot will be left more and will win the election. I thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to support.
Senator Aaron Cheruyot.
My apologies, Madam Speaker. Senator Odi, let me use this place. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this report actually by our colleagues, the Justice and Legal